If you thought needles, lab tests, and waiting weeks for approval stopped you from getting life insurance, well, we got good news for you, as you may not need any of that. In today's video, we're going to be breaking down no medical exam life insurance to see if you're a good fit and what's the qualifications.
But before we go into that, let's talk about what a medical exam is in the first place, right? Before we talk about what it isn't. So the point of life insurance, family, is if you are going to get insurance on your life, the life insurance company needs to do a thorough examination of your body and your health to determine if you are insurable. The same way you would get insurance on your car, don't you have to go pass emissions and all that type of stuff to make sure your car can get on the road? It's no different, right? So with that being said,
it's a lot different, actually.
You get the idea, though, right? The idea is clear?
Yes, it's clear. Yeah,
He's like, no, I don't know. But the point is we'll go through the list of exactly what the life insurance companies are looking for. But I just want to introduce the fact that typically if you get a life insurance policy, you are going to have to provide a blood sample, a urine sample. You might have to get some BMI stats like your height and your weight. We'll have to talk to your doctors and figure out, what you've been doing, what you've been on, and
your prescription
and all of that to make sure that, again, you're healthy enough. But we'll go in more detail.
Yeah, now what a life insurance with no medical exam is basically you don't have to do any of that.
Skip it.
You can skip all of it. And depending on the insurance company is going to determine the type of underwriting that is called. Some may call it simplified life. Others may call it accelerated underwriting. Mm-hmm. So it depends on the type of life insurance that you're getting. It's going to dictate the type of no medical life insurance that you're going to be working your way through.
And disclaimer that I had to put out there because I don't want you all to watch this video and go, Carmen and Darius said I didn't have to get a medical exam. Mm-hmm. This is not that video. This is the video of saying what it looks like if you don't need a medical exam.
Right.
All right. And every life insurance company is different. So we're walking you through what this process could look like.
Right. And whether you get a medical exam or you don't get a medical exam, the goal is exactly the same. You're trying to get life insurance. So it doesn't change the goal. It just changes the process, and it's leveraging technology to get you through that process a little faster.
That's exactly what I was going to say, because at the end of the day, the life insurance companies recognize that there is a time suck that happens when we need to get your blood sample, urine sample, and we got to talk to your doctor. So the life insurance companies have been able to leverage technology to shorten this time frame to get your data more clearly, more accurately. So they will be able to determine once they get your information, do they even need to poke you or not?
Now, your next question is, how does life insurance with the no medical exam works? Well, basically what happens is when you apply for a life insurance through your application, you answer questions like your medical history and your family history. The insurance companies take this information and put it into their secure database where they cross-reference it against all the medical information that you have in the system. What it's called is automated underwriting. And the list of tools that they use, I have it here, I'm going to read it. It's called the Medical Information Bureau, your prescription history, your motor vehicle report, and your past insurance applications.
Mm-hmm. Let's break all of that down too, right? So when we talk about the MIB, that is all of your previous medical history. So every last doctor's appointment that you've had, they can pull that information. Your prescription history, your prescriptions from like decades ago, they can pull. Even if you filled the prescription or not. That's where sometimes people get tricked up in underwriting, is they go, I never used the Oxycontin, but it's on your record.
I had vitamin D on mine, and they asked me about vitamin D.
Mm-hmm. So those are things that we want to make sure that you understand. And then going back to your motor vehicle history, right? Again, this is about making sure that you're insurable. So if you have multiple DUIs, if you have multiple infractions on your traffic history, they're going to think that maybe you're not a safe driver, which means it doesn't make sense to insure you. These are things, again, that they're going to consider. And then they're going to look at all of your previous applications for life insurance. So kind of like a credit report, but not. They're going to look at how many times you've applied for life insurance, how many times you moved forward, and how many times you didn't move forward, because again, they want to know how serious you are about this whole process. So with that said, this is all of the information that the life insurance company is going to comb through, and they're going to determine after combing through all of this information, does it make sense for us to get blood from you or not? Mm-hmm. If they run all this information and say, you know what, I think Darius checks out, he seems healthy enough, then we'll move on to the next process, which means you don't need a medical exam.
Yeah, and all that typically, if you're doing a traditional way through underwriting, it takes a long time. It takes weeks in some examples, in some instances. So it's important for us to let you know about this so that you can get through that process a lot faster. Now, the next question you'll have is, what are the different types of no medical life insurance that you could get? And one is going to be a simplified issue. That is a short health questionnaire with no labs, no exam, and it's best for health applicants who want fast coverage between 500,000 and a million. The next one is guaranteed issue. This is typically for smaller coverage and higher premiums, and it's often used for like final expense or those who might not qualify elsewhere, like older people. But for traditional life insurance, it's called accelerated underwriting. The ones that we typically come across with the companies we work with, because we sell traditional life insurance via whole life and term insurance. It's called accelerated underwriting, and they use this exact same technology just to skip the medical exam just by using data.
Considering everything Darius said, the thing that comes across our desks, I would say more often than not, is the accelerated underwriting process, which means if you are trying to get life insurance and you check the lucky box where maybe you don't need a medical exam, it's because you're applying for less than $1 million in death benefit and you are already healthy. 9 times out of 10, that's really what it is. You really don't have any medical history, you don't have any prescriptions, your motor history is clear, and you don't have any history of lapsing policies or applying and not taking policies. Those are the type of clients that we see that don't have to take medical exams.
Right, and another thing, a good practice that we have is that we write a letter to the insurance company talking about the different prescriptions that you may have had that you didn't take, so that when they pull your record, when they actually see it, they don't have to come back and ask the question. It's already in this this letter that we send along with your application. So that could help also if you're talking with an agent as to how to get this process through faster, even if you have something that you want to address before they do.
Totally. I want to take a moment to stress the point that you're not applying for life insurance to not have to take the medical exam, right? I want to make sure that we're not mixing words or intentions. We're just letting you know what the process could potentially look like if you don't need a medical exam, because sometimes it comes up like, hey, how come I didn't need a medical exam? And it's because you probably don't have much on your record.
Right.
So again, Go ahead.
And I was going to say, sometimes that also happens if you just apply for a life insurance policy 12 months before. They can use that exact same information so that you can skip the process anyway.
Yeah, so the strategy is we're not trying to avoid a medical exam is really what I'm trying to say. And don't think that you can beat the system. I would say more often than not, because can we take a minute? I'm going to go off ramp, Darius. I got to go off ramp. Why y'all lie on these applications? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
They're going to find out.
They're going to find out, right? And let's talk about marijuana first and foremost, because I know that that's kind of taboo. People talk about, oh, I don't smoke. And then we do the test and come to find out you smoked yesterday. Like just be honest, because they're going to find out. And if they find out and they know that you've lied,
then they're going to open up questions on other things.
Well, and the question is, why would they insure you?
Yeah.
Right? Because what else are you lying about? And I can't tell you how many clients have told us we haven't had heart surgery. We did the medical exams. You had heart surgery 3 years ago, or I've never had cancer and I had cancer 10 years ago. So again, please be honest on these applications, because again, it's not about avoiding this medical exam. That your records are there for the insurance companies to get, and it's available.
Yeah, and I've seen this with a lot with married couples where the wife would know a lot more about the husband than the husband knows about himself. And she's talking about stuff that he doesn't even remember having.
Yeah, well, that happens with us.
So if you want quick coverage without delays, if you're in good health, then this may be something that's good for you. But just take into consideration, know this, that you usually get the lowest premium when you go through the full underwriting, is because when they get your blood sample, when they get your urine sample, they have those details as it exists.
There's no doubt.
There's no doubt as it exists right now. There's nothing that happened in the past that's going to maybe something that, like you get vitamin D, that they may say that you get a standard rating, but you get the lowest premium by going through the complete underwriting. So also take that in consideration when you're applying for life insurance.
And the thing to note too, like for example, for those of us who may have pre-existing conditions, me, for example, I was diagnosed with asthma as a child, right? So every life insurance application that I've ever applied for, I got standard rating because I had asthma and I had all this asthmatic history and prescriptions, right? And so it wasn't until my last application where I was like, I'm going to talk about this and I'm going to write a letter and explaining this because I'm actually no longer on any of that medication, even though it's in my history.
Right.
So I wrote a nice letter explaining that, yes, I've been diagnosed with asthma, but for the past, 10 years, I haven't used any of this medication, yada, 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 and explained the whole thing. And guess what I got? Super preferred, baby, because I stood up for myself and I said, this is what it is, right? So again, if you have medication, let's talk about it. There's nothing to be ashamed of. Let us know how long you've been using it, why you've been using it, and all sorts of things so that we can be your advocate. So that if you get a medical exam, fine, we go through that whole rabbit hole. If you don't get a medical exam, then we go through the other door.
Right, and also remember that it has to be within a certain threshold. If it exceeds like $1 million or whatever the threshold is for that insurance company, then you're gonna have to go through full underwriting, because remember, what they're trying to decide is their risk of you getting life insurance as both term and whole life. They're determining the risk. If the risk is too high, you're not even going to be able to get term insurance. So take that in consideration.
Yeah, if you are shelving out $2 million, I'm gonna need a blood sample, right? I'm gonna need to know my risk, what's going on. So that's why we say usually $1 million and under. Some companies even 500 and under, where we've seen the accelerated underwriting.
Right. Now, the purpose of this video wasn't to tell you that there's a shortcut to getting life insurance, but to let you know that life insurance is evolving. There's an evolution in how the underwriting process works that you may be able to take advantage of in how fast you get your next policy.
Exactly. So underwriting is just due diligence.
Yes.
So the insurance company is doing their due diligence to determine their risk levels and insuring you. And we hope that this information was helpful in you understanding what the underwriting process could potentially look like and whether or not you may or may not need a medical exam. Now, if you are ready to start that underwriting process, click on the link below, and Wealth Nation, we would love to serve you with your next policy.
Remember to own your own lifestyle.
Or someone else will.